Now let's take you to Parliament, where we understand there is commotion over the new ECCI after a debate in Parliament between majority and minority. Our Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante joins us live from Parliament with details. Kweku, what is happening? What can you report?
So, Brace, in the last 3 hours, the minority and the majority side have been at each other's throats. I mean, arguing about the Electoral Commission's proposed CI. Started around 3 o'clock, and it was one of the longest drawn-out debates that I've seen in recent times in the House. The House then adjourned the day's business and decided to go into a committee of the whole to be briefed first by the Electoral Commission and the National Identification Authority, because the EC is seeking to make the Ghana card the sole identity document to enroll onto the voters register. And so the NIA is playing such a critical role here. We understand that when this meeting started, and I should tell you that journalists were asked to leave the chamber when that committee of the whole meeting started. It's quite something new. The last time there was such a committee of the whole, all of us were allowed to be in the chamber. This time around, we're asked to leave. But just when we left about 15, 20 minutes, we had a lot of noise in the chamber from the adjoining offices where we were. So we went down there, and what we could see were a lot of exasperation, angry MPs, some of them who were coming out of the chamber, not willing to speak to the record, but giving us information as to what exactly was happening in there. Quite some commotion, anger with MPP and NDC MP at each other's throat. We understand the minority MPs at the time said they were not going to allow the EC, which officials was led by the Deputy EC boss, Bossman Asari, to brief the House because they wanted Madam Jane Mensah herself to be in Parliament, and that if she was not going to be there, they were not going to allow that briefing to happen. The majority side, on the other hand, defending the EC, saying that the Deputy EC boss could do so. So just around the time, the Marshal Department, they were asking the security presence around Parliament, all of them to go into the chamber to try and calm tempest. We saw some policemen coming there for about 5 minutes. We understand that the Speaker of Parliament himself has been called to come in. At the time this commotion happened, he was not there himself. And so we understand he has been asked to be there. Just before I came up for this conversation, I saw his security detail entering. So we understand any moment he's supposed to be in the chamber to try and negotiate and try and have some agreement as to whether they are going to continue now or do so tomorrow, Brace.
Hold on, let's hear the former minority leader, Harun Adrisu, who earlier said the Electoral Commission must not be allowed to lay its new constitutional instrument in Parliament. The new CI makes the Ghana card the only identification document to be used to guarantee citizenship and age. The minority are also opposed to a regulation in the CI which requires persons who want to register to do so at an EC district office. According to Harun Idrisu, these regulations will disenfranchise Ghanaians and must not be allowed to go through.
One, the Electoral Commission was now informing the Ghanaian public through Parliament that only the National ID card issued by the National Identification Authority will be a sole reference document for the purpose of registration. Mr. Speaker, that is the intendment of what is referred to as a draft CI. And in it, if you want, I'll refer to the particular purpose. It says qualification for registration. And then it comes, Mr. Speaker, again to say, 2, designation of registration centers. And again, Mr. Speaker, our committee found problems with the designation of the registration center. It says a district office of the commission. A district office of the commission or any other place that the commission considers appropriate. Mr. Speaker, throughout history in 1993, since the establishment of the Electoral Commission, voter registration exercise is done at polling stations, not district offices. And Mr. Speaker, I'll use the example of Bole. A polling station in the Bole constituency is as far as spending 4 or 5 hours to get to Bole Township in order to be able to be captured and registered as a voter. For the Electoral Commission to designate only district officers is problematic for us constitutionally, is problematic for us administratively, is problematic for us for voters to identify.
Now, the Tamale South legislator said the EC has sinned against the Constitution by not holding limited registration exercises since 2021, thereby disallowing citizens of age the opportunity to enroll as voters.
For the record, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, Ghanaians who have attained the age of 18 years have been denied the opportunity to be captured as registered voters. This is a constitutional wrong. Let anybody challenge me with facts and figures, Mr. Speaker. There has been no voter register opportunity for Ghanaians who have attained 18 years since 2021. That is a constitutional wrong, unacceptable to a country committed to multi-party constitutional democracy. Mr. Speaker, the right to vote and to be voted for is so sacred. Even for you elected members of parliament, one of the minimum qualifications of you to get voted as MPs is to show that you are a registered voter. That is the weight the Constitution imposes on this in Article 94 of the Constitution.
But speaking in defense of the EC's proposed constitutional instrument, MP for Ikuapem South and Deputy Local Government Minister Obiamo said the EC was justified in seeking to use the Ghana card as a sole identity document. Now, he contended that the guarantor system has been abused.
The meeting, and even if you look at this report, we seem to acknowledge that the guarantor system has been abused. And indeed, as practitioners, even as practitioners, the thought behind the guarantor system was to acknowledge that where a prospective registrant did not have any means of identification, they could fall on their parents, their spouses, their children, close family members, to guarantee and sign a form that indeed I know this person is qualified to be registered. And that as we have moved on along the years, this system has been abused in the sense that people overnight became guarantee contractors, where they join a queue, get registered, they stand by and say that they are waiting to endorse 10 or 5 people that they know them, they should be registered. It's a worry which we must take into consideration. And indeed, if for any reason the guarantee system has been maintained, all these issues must be addressed.
Now, Kweku, what is likely to happen now?
So, is going to calm the situation, and that ultimately they are going to reach some agreement as to whether or not they are going to continue this committee of the whole meeting, or they are going to insist that Madam Jean Mensah herself appears before the committee, which seems a bit unlikely because over the last 1 year, Electoral Commission officials have been asked to appear before Parliament, either as committee of the whole or committees. Usually, Madam Jean Mensah. We are. These consultations and these talks are going to go on for some time, but as we know now, tempers have calmed a little bit after the security were deployed into the chamber, and the Speaker of Parliament is now going to make a final determination as to the way forward.
All right. Now, grateful to you, Kweku. Let's still stay on elections, but now...